It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Tempel Brygghus in Sweden, and this is a can of their Isotonic Gose. It's a 4.5% ABV Gose style beer which comes from Germany, and it is in a 330ml can. So without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. A little bit of smoke on the can opening, a little bit of a fill on the can opening as well. You can see a little bit of beer in the rim there. I like a Gose, good style of beer. We'll talk to you about the style in a moment, but I just want to quickly get this beer out into a glass. I'm quite thirsty today. We got a 3 to 4 finger white head, good levels of carbonation. It's a hazy looking amber coloured ale with good levels of carbonation rolling up the glass there. Nice looking beer. Let's get that aroma then. Oh wow, yeah, funky goes. There's a nice citrus note coming through as well. It's like popping through. That's the best way to describe it. That's the hops in the beer. So not only is it a nice funky salty Gose, but it's got a nice kind of hop finish, a popping citrusy hop finish on the back end. It smells fantastic. It smells really inviting and really kind of lovely. Makes you want to get in and drink it, which we're going to do. Cheers, everybody. Very dry in the taste, but yeah, citrusy, nicely carbonated. That dryness gives way to the beer, the malt in the beer, giving it's in between wafer and light biscuits, like a digestive biscuit flavour coming through. It's lemony, slightly herbal from the hops. And that dryness as well, that dryness from the salt in the beer is really giving this beer something extra. It's another dimension, another level of quality to the beer. Just when you think you've thought of all the different flavours that you're tasting in the beer, you're putting a finger on them, something else pops up, like a little bit of maybe stinging nettle flavour from the hops. There we go. Another interesting thing, being a German style of beer, the Czechs and the Germans, they always kind of have a nice head on the beer. It's a point of not conflict but contestment. People contest this all the time. In the UK, we're not used to having great big heads on our beer like this, but when you go to continental Europe, when you go to Germany and the Czech Republic and Belgium, they say it's very important to have a good head on the beer because it protects the beer underneath. You could probably sit this to one side for a few minutes and there's no air hitting the beer. The beer is being protected. Pretty cool thing. But in the UK, of course, we want a full glass of beer. We want it filled to the top. We want as much as we possibly can from the beer. There's not much I can bring out because it's all in. Oh, there's some coriander in here as well. It's all in Swedish. Water, malted barley, wheat, malt, and hops, salt, and coriander. We're going to talk to you about the style in a moment, the Gose style of beer. It comes from the region of Germany. You definitely get that coriander now. It comes from the region of Germany, the Gose region of Germany. It's actually the Gose River. And the Gose River has a natural salt content in the river itself. So when a brewery set up on the banks of the river and used the river water, there was a slight salty taste in the beer. And that's where the beer got its style from. Or it was a style of its own right, if you like, the Gose style. It was a style that was very popular a few hundred years ago in Germany. And it nearly died a death. It just faded away, like some things do, like some good things do. You know, old cars, you know, some really classic old cars that they don't make anymore. And they make these round bubble things these days that everybody drives around in that has no shape, no meaning, no focus. But that, I'm just using that as an example because that's what happens in life. You just forget about things. But thankfully, the craft beer revolution came about. There's some fantastic brewers out around the world who are looking at all these old recipe books and reading about all these old styles of beer, and they brought them back. And they brought them back because of the passion that they have for beer, that great passion for beer. So they brought this Gose style back, and it is thriving. Absolutely thriving. The digital age we're living in at the moment, I don't think this style will ever vanish again, because you have so many different things, so many different platforms where we're talking about beer now. Gose style on Untapped or Facebook or Twitter, or here we are on YouTube talking about Goses. So rather than the style just gets forgotten because they just get left in the brewers' history books and people just forget about the style, I think there'll always be a point of reference for this style of beer now. I don't think it will ever disappear. And so I'm really pleased it won't disappear, because it's a terrific style of beer, the Gose. You get the coriander, you get the saltiness. It's a very drinkable beer. Okay, just to quickly wrap this beer review up then. Fantastic, really, really good style of beer. Really pleased with it. As you roll the beer around in the glass, we'll have one more big aroma of the beer. Oh, it's fabulous, really kind of fruity. Coriander, there's a little bit of passion fruit in there as well. Oh, really lovely, lovely beer. Rating. Really clean beer, really refreshing, really drinkable. Carbonation pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth. It's a beer at 4.5% ABV. I'd be quite happy to drink 2 or 3 of them. And that's quite unusual for a Gose for me. Normally with a Gose or a sour, I'll drink 1 or 2 max. But I feel with this, I could drink 3, possibly 4 cans. I like the beer enough to give it an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.